All right, so I'm gonna make a quick video because I'm still working, but I wanted to make this quick video really fast because I get this question a lot and I didn't realize how often I get this question, and I didn't realize I'd never done a video about it up until now. So I wanted to do this really fast and give you guys like a quick little tip to help you guys out. So I'm sure you guys see this tube a lot. And if you're new to the phlebotomy world, then you know that this tube is going to be number one in your order of draw after your blood cultures. Okay, so you got your blood cultures, and then you're going to have this in your order of draw. Okay, so for this tube is most commonly known as your coagulation tube. So you're normally going to use this tube when you're drawing PT-INRs, D-dimers, PTTs, anything of that nature. But I also use this tube for a laboratory that I also contract with called Oxford Biomedical Technologies. They use this tube to do their MRT leak testing. So that's for food allergy testing. So they use this tube as well. So when I'm drawing their kits, they supply these tubes, and the same rule of thumb applies. These tubes have to be filled all the way up. So if you never paid attention to these tubes, I'm hoping that you can see it all the way. If you never paid attention to these tubes, all the way to the top here, there is a line. And the blood, when you draw this tube, the blood has to be filled all the way up to this line, no exception. If it is filled anything below this line, the laboratory is not going to run it. That's just a general rule of thumb for any laboratory. Doesn't matter what hospital you use, doesn't matter what laboratory you use, doesn't matter if they're big, small, private, whatever. No laboratory will run this blood without it being all the way up to that line. It has to be up to that line, okay? First rule of thumb, blood has to be up to this line. But there's a trick to it, depending upon what type of needle you use. So, well, y'all know what type of needle this is. Doesn't matter the gauge. We all know this is a straight needle. So when you're using a straight needle, you only need one of these tubes. When you're using a straight needle, you only need one tube. A straight needle, you can take one tube and fill this all the way up to the line, okay? Fill it all the way up. Now, if you're going to use this tube and use a butterfly, you're going to need two of these tubes, okay? Why? Because a butterfly has 0.5 milliliters of air in the line, and you have to get the air out of the line. Let me repeat this again because the video cut off. You have to get the air out of the line in order for the tube to fill all the way up. So your first tube, you're not going to fill up. You're just going to use it as what we call a throwaway tube. So you literally just want to get like a couple of drops of blood in this tube. Just a couple of drops. So what I do is when I'm using a butterfly, I take my first tube. After I let it get a couple of drops in, I toss this one, and then I take my second tube, and then this is the tube that I'm going to fill all the way up. And then it's going to fill all the way up to this line and above or whatever. This is the tube that I'm going to turn into the laboratory to be tested. If you try to take a butterfly and just fill up this one tube, it is not going to fill all the way up to the line. That I can guarantee you. It is going to get probably to like right there, and it's going to stop. And if you drawn this with a butterfly and you've seen that's what happened, that's why. So if you're using a butterfly, so like I said, so if you're using a butterfly, use 1/4 throwaway, get a couple of drops in it, toss it, and then take your second tube, and then you'll be able to fill it all the way up. But if you're using a straight needle, you only need one tube because there's no air in the line. There's nothing here. It's a like straight vacuum into the tube, and you'll be able to fill the tube all the way up. So this only applies to your sodium citrate tubes, which is your light blue tubes. That's it. This is the only one that applies to. This does not apply to your rest of your tubes. Only this one, because it has to be filled all the way up. No other tube has to be filled up for testing. Only this one. Okay, so I'm hoping I taught you guys something else new, and I'm hoping that you guys can use it. So happy testing.